Good afternoon and welcome to the CERIAS Security Seminar. It's my pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Mr. David Wang. David is currently a third-year doctoral student over in the Krannert School of Management in Management Information Systems. Here at Purdue University, where we are today. Before coming to Purdue, David earned his Bachelor of Business Administration and his MBA in Accounting from National Taiwan University. He also worked as an auditor, and he also taught at National Taiwan University in accounting for a number of years. Since coming here to Purdue and the Krannert School, his research has been at the intersection of accounting, information systems, and information security for the most part, with a foray into knowledge management as well. And what he's going to present to you is some current research that he's working on that tries to look at the signals. Companies give off signals all the time. They have annual reports and things like that conveys information to investors. And those investors, when they're buying and trading stocks, they take that information into account, and that has, we think it has some impact on the prices at which the stocks are bought and sold at. So we're really interested in what happens when firms get into trouble with information security. What happens? Do their stocks go way down? Do they stay the same? Could they go up? And David, in his research, has tried to look at that. And he's looked at this and the types of information signals companies provide using some pretty cool and innovative tools. So I don't want to give away the ending. The results are pretty interesting. So I'll let David take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. I'm glad that I have the chance to present my paper here. And the title of my paper is that Bridging the Disclosures with New Eyes. So that is, we want to bridge the gap between the disclosures in financial reports and information security incidents. So let us start with this news article from CNN.com. In year 2000, there was a series of denial of service attack, and Amazon was one of the targets. As you can see that the denial of service attack tied Amazon's computer up and prevent almost all the customers from purchasing from Amazon.com. So based on this news, we asked the following question. Do companies try to tell their investors that the impact of information security incidents, for example, the virus attack or denial of service attack? And the answer is yes. We found out that companies try to release risk factors in their financial reports to their investors so their investors know that the possible impacts of these information security risk factors. And if the investors have already known these factors, it seems that the impacts of these incidents on the stock price of these companies should be smaller, since the investors have already known everything about the impacts and they have already discounted this kind of impacts. So in this paper, we're trying to answer the following research questions. The first one is that the disclosures of information security risk factors can mitigate the impact of information security incidents in terms of stock price reactions. And we also want to understand what are the elements within these disclosures that help investors understand the disclosures and understand the impacts and help them to formulate possible expectations about the firm's future performance. We're also interested in that do companies change their disclosure policy before and after experiencing information security incidents. So, in order to approach these research questions, we draw upon the theories in accounting and information security. The theories in accounting say that managers are willing to disclose a piece of information in their financial reports if that piece of information can help a firm increase their business value. That disclosure is positively correlated with stock prices. And in particular, Sohail 2006 found that the information security risk factors disclosed in financial reports are positively correlated with stock prices. So we argue that here we have the disclosures in financial reports, or in particular, the information security risk factors. These factors can help investors to form expectations about the future performance or to form expectations about the uncertainty about future cash flow, even after experiencing some kind of information security incidents, such as virus attacks, denial of services attacks, or just the hacker breaking into their computers. Okay, and this kind of expectation can help them to lower the stock price reactions. Okay, but how about the impact of information security incidents on stock prices? There are several studies have done this before, but they do not come up with a consensus. Some of them found that there's a negative impact. Some of them do not found such impact. Okay, so this study we try to bridge these two theories. We try to link these two theories together. The first one is that if the disclosures are positively correlated with stock prices, then what happens if the firm is experiencing some kind of information security incidents? So that is, if the disclosures can help investors understand the possible impacts of these incidents, so when the firm is actually experiencing this kind of incidents, the reaction of stock prices should be smaller. Okay, or the business value, the impacts on business value should be smaller. But how can we approach this question? So, in order to approach it, we have the four basic hypotheses. Okay, the first part of this hypothesis, we try to use a cross-sectional analysis to analyze that, and then we're going to use text mining to look into the disclosures or the contents of the disclosures. Okay, so based on the discussion we just had, we observed there are two different types of information security-related disclosure in financial reports. The first one is called the disclosure of internal control and procedures, or the internal control reports, which is mandated by Sarbanes-Oxley Act after year 2002. Okay, and the basic idea of this disclosure is to convey or assess the effectiveness of internal control. So the investors will know that whether there's a serious or a major weakness in their information infrastructure. Okay, if the infrastructure is okay, so they can make sure that the output or the information generated from these systems, for example, the financial reports, has a certain level of quality. Okay, that's the purpose of internal control report. And the second one is called the disclosures of information security risk factors. We know that companies disclose a lot of business risk factors in their financial reports. For example, they might facing strong or fierce competition, they might lose their customers, or they have to build up a very good relationship with their suppliers or their distributors. And information security risk factor is one of them. So this factor says that, for example, if they are facing some kind of virus attack, they might lose their confidential data and they might lose their customers. Okay, so the discussion is as follows. If we have these disclosures and these disclosures can help the investors adjust their expectations, so as the number of disclosures goes up, then we should expect that the impact of these incidents on stock prices should be smaller. Okay, that's the first hypothesis. But with this kind of expectation formulation, we'll have several issues that we haven't solved in this hypothesis one. So in the following hypothesis, we want to focus on the argument of expectation formulation. Okay, for example, here we have the virus attack disclosed in our financial report. We say that if we are going to face virus attacks, we might lose our customer bases. And then after 1 year, the company really faces some kind of virus attacks. So this is a match between the disclosure and the incidents the company actually experiencing. So we want to understand, is it necessary to be the case that the disclosure are exactly the same with the incidents a company faces to have this kind of mitigation effect? Okay, so we want to understand that the information security risk factors disclosed actually happens. Okay, and this is our hypothesis too. That is, if the disclosures coincide with the incidents a company faces, whether as the number of information security risk factors increases, there's a mitigation effect. Okay.